record, and then I will also go live on Facebook. So, Red Deer Dream Center. Okay, and then, hang on. Okay. Share to your page.
Did you get it?
Okay. I'm not sharing, I shared to Safe Harbor page, and now I can go live. Okay, almost there, almost there. Okay, it looks like we are live.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, baby.
Yay!
Captain's Corner is back.
Yay!
Okay, happy Monday, everyone. Here we are with our weekly Captain's Corner. We have Kath Hoffman here, our captain at Safe Harbor, our special guest, Vince Aliberti. I hope I pronounced it right.
You did. You did.
Okay, awesome. Vince is the executive director at the Red Deer Dream Center. So we are super excited to chat with him today. And my name is Kirsten. I am the first mate marketing at the Harbor. And if you have not watched the Captain's Corner before, which I can't think you.
I can't even imagine.
No, I can't even imagine. So you can leave your comments in the chat. We will get back to you. We will answer your questions, and let's go. So Vince, official welcome, drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll.
Yes. So Vince, you are executive director at the Red Deer Dream Center, which is going to open sometime this year. I think you said during the summer. And we would love to chat with you. Like, maybe first of all, can you introduce yourself? Tell our listeners today what you do at the Dream Center. And yeah, let's start from there.
Sure. My name is Vincenzo Aliberti, and I'm the executive director of the Dream Center. It's an honor to be on Captain's Corner, first and foremost. I'm very privileged to be the ED at the Red Deer Dream Center. We plan on opening up this year in late spring, early summer. And right now it's all about building a wonderful, wonderful team of individuals. I believe heavily in culture. And when we have that team in place, it's really about ensuring that we collaborate and connect with the community to really help the individuals or clients, I call them clients, that come to our center. We house 40 men. We will be housing 40 men at the Red Deer Dream Center. And again, what's critically important is that we partner with the community, whether it's, when I say community, whether it's provincial government, whether it's central Alberta, whether it's the local businesses, donors, et cetera, et cetera. We don't want to exclude anyone because this is not just a Red Deer Dream Center initiative. This is a community initiative as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so I'm pumped.
Yeah,
Vince, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
when you say community initiative, the one thing I can tell you for sure, 100%, is we have a community that has been ready for a residential treatment program for a very long time. And for all of the agencies and organizations that have been aching for that local referral for people who sometimes they don't want to go out of town. Sometimes people do want to go out of town for treatment because they want to remain anonymous.
Yes.
But a lot of people just want to get to treatment, and locally it's a great option. So I am speaking to you as someone who has been feeling the gap in this city for so many years. I don't know if you know, but one of the very first programs Safe Harbor offered to this community was a group of volunteers who typically had their own personal recovery, and they volunteered to drive people to detox and to treatment. And we paid for their gas and helped them out with their vehicle a little bit, but we ran that for so long until we got a detox. But now we're still doing the same thing for treatment. So we are so excited to have you come. But Vince, how did you, Vince Aliberti, Vincenzo? Is it?
Vincenzo.
I don't know, but I love Italian. I just love it. And I'm so excited that you're here.
Bello mio.
Yeah, and you can speak Italian. Oh, it's like music to my ears. But how did you come to be here in Red Deer? You yourself, tell us about yourself.
It's quite interesting. Never in a million years did I think that I would be the executive director of the Dream Center. Never in a million years. And the reason why I'm saying that is I was brought up in a household, and I never really knew about it, how it impacted me. My mother was schizophrenic, and essentially what happened was at the age of 14, without my father knowing, I would sip a little bit of wine here and there. But unlike other individuals, when I take that one sip, I need to have more. I became an alcoholic. It was hardcore probably by the time I was 14, 15. And even though I had a little bit of wine from my father, I would get my friends to give me wine, booze, and who knows what, right? Without my father knowing.
Yeah.
And then I was a good soccer player. Ended up playing for a seniors team by the time I was 15. And they would give me all the booze that I needed. And, it went on from there. Got a soccer scholarship, did 500 push-ups, sit-ups, ran a practice, and after that did my homework like a good young man and got hammered every night for 5 years. My master's, same thing. PhD, same thing, right? The fact of the matter is I thought I was inadequate. The story went on and on and on. Then finally, in 2003, come to a Jesus moment, literally come to Jesus moment, Kath and Kirsten, where I lived in Atlanta, Chicago, and Detroit. And in Chicago, Wheaton, Illinois, what happened was that I fell to the ground, and it was about 11:30 in the evening. And I said to myself, Jesus, I said, God, help me here. Am I going to live or die tonight? And since that day, I haven't taken a drink. I was a very stubborn person. Wanted to go up the corporate ladder, become a millionaire, this, that, and the other thing. Didn't happen. And then my daughter got bullied, attempted suicide. A lot of things happened with my daughter. I can't mention out of respect for her. And even in my recovery, it took everything in my power just to be sober. And I had to, my dream of so-called being a millionaire, going up to become CEO wasn't necessarily meant to be. But what happened was that, and I'll make this quick, what happened was I'd bump into people. I speak at Toastmasters to enhance my public speaking skills. I partnered with the United Way to be an impact speaker to speak about intergenerational trauma. Then I saw this ad that said Red Deer Dream Center, and I said, you know something, man, this is for me, man. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've tried everything and anything, and my ego had to crush it in order for me to live. And next thing you know, I'm in Red Deer. And the beautiful thing about it is, Kath and Kirsten, the beautiful thing is that I'm very God-centered, very spiritual, and I'm all about collaboration and the clients. That's what it's all about. But now I can say that I could never have done this because I have the nonprofit experience, being on a board, being a previous executive director, and I also have the for-profit experience from a business standpoint, and it plays, and the mental health side of things, right? And I'm learning every day. Don't get me wrong. I learn every day.
Yes.
So it's positioned me beautifully. God has positioned me beautifully into this place where I could be for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, I can live my purpose and save people.
That's so cool, Vince. Well, and that's when we're the best versions of ourselves, when we're leading from the heart. And that heart could be beat up and trampled on and torn apart and everything else, but all of those things, as we all know, just make us stronger. The more uncomfortable we are, the more we're learning. And then when you can package that up and help people with that, it kind of helps with that pain from before. It lessens
Yes.
that pain. So I can really appreciate what you're saying. So when we think about the Dream Center finally coming to, we're going to have finally an option. Vince, lots of people I find that don't understand. It's confusing, this addiction talk. People don't understand lots of the words we use, like detox and treatment and recovery and blah, 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 right? And so just to refreshen people's understanding, if you are somebody who's looking for some help and you have an addiction, the first thing you're going to do before you go to a residential treatment program or even an outpatient treatment program is go to Detox. And what that is typically a 7 to 10 day stay, help you stabilize, help get your brain and body back, give it a good rest and some good food. And then you'll go to some place like the Dream Center. So you said earlier, you have 40 beds for men. What will they be doing in there? And how long can they stay in there, Vince?
Oh, that's a great question. That's why you and I are going to get along so well. And the reason being that detox is critically important. There's no way that someone can come into the Dream Center without being detoxed.
Yeah.
And so let's say after they come to you and when they are in detox at Safe Harbor, we'll be communicating back and forth to see if the person's even ready.
Yeah.
We have you'll have an intake process, we'll have an intake process, but it'll be seamless. Once it's in, our goal is they have up to a year, if not more, depending on the person, to stay in the program.
Okay, so they can stay for a whole year if they need to.
Absolutely, because
Awesome.
you know as well as I do.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is what I think about it. Okay, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I haven't drank in 20 years. I sponsor people, et cetera, et cetera. That's alcoholism. Now, someone that's been on crystal meth, when I had to detox myself from my alcoholism, it took, let's say, 5, 6, 7 days, 3 days. Sometimes it varied, right?
No.
But someone that's on crystal meth, it's a different ballgame. Someone's depending on the substance, I'll leave it very broad.
Yes.
It takes more time potentially to stabilize. I don't want to use the word detox because you're detoxing. So what we will have is, because we work so closely together, we will be working so closely together. If we know that someone is simply, I shouldn't say simply, has a problem with alcohol, we'll get that information. We go through our process. And the fact of the matter is, when they fill out the questionnaire, they may not necessarily be in the right mind to even answer the question, right? So we'll take not just one day just to get the basic questions answered. And then the next week, we'll take our time gathering the information. The same goes with those that have, whether it's cocaine, crystal meth, whatever substance it is, fentanyl, whatever opioid of some sort, we will gauge accordingly how we will do the intake process, right?
Yeah.
For some person, maybe one day they'll fill everything. Another day, another person, it could be a week, could be a week and a half.
Yeah.
The whole point is that once we know that, in some cases, they'll need Suboxone to stabilize.
Mhm.
So for those who don't know, it's a way to go into recovery.
Help with those withdrawals.
Thank you. Thank you kindly. Help with the withdrawals. And we know that, and if I may say this, let's say that Sanjeev has done whatever substance, it may take him 3 weeks to stabilize. Paul may take a month to stabilize. Someone else may take 2-3 months to stabilize. So what we do is, ideally, we'd want to put them all in the same group. But the thing is, they stabilize at different times. And based on the stabilization, right, we wait, and then eventually they'll go into a specific cohort within what we term our program, right? Okay. Now, while this is going on the stabilization, again, please understand, this is a year, potentially more, depending on the person. We are connecting with Kath at Safe Harbor, her organization, Safe Harbor. We are Turning Point, where they do harm reduction. I think very highly of the ED there. And all these other organizations, CMHA, the John Howard
For
Society.
those wraparound supports, hey, Vince?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So they can be
Wraparound
connected.
supports.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because for some people, NA works, Narcotics Anonymous. For others, it's not. You know something? It's AA that works. For others, it's Smart Recovery, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But to your point, you simplified it quite nicely for me. The wraparound services. And the one thing that I know, it is, I don't want to say for sure, but close enough to being sure, is that recovery is an individualized journey. So what works for me is not going to work for Kath or Kirsten or Paul, whomever. And that's just, I've seen it over and over and over and over again, right? It's something where once that program is going to be catered, ideally we want them in groups, cohorts of 6 to 8. And we wait until we partner everyone into a specific cohort. And then while they're in there, we do that care plan with the wraparound services and look for transitional housing. The key here, and this is something that I've done a lot of thinking about, and I'm a little concerned sometimes, right? When I say transitional housing, and I'd like to get input from the both of you here, my concern is that when someone goes into detox, or when someone eventually goes into a residential program, and someone goes to the program, et cetera, let's say that they found their version of God. For me, it's Jesus Christ Almighty, and I love him, right? For someone else, maybe Creator. For someone else, maybe something else. The whole point is that they have something greater than them. They want to bring them to the community and have this wraparound services around them.
Yeah.
But the last thing we want is for them to go into transitional housing, where on the left side, there are people there that their next door neighbor is doing cocaine, the other person's doing whatever, and it doesn't take much for them to just go back to it, right? So we develop a very, very careful plan, right? Because they could come from BC to our place, right? More often than not, they'll be from Central Alberta. Or maybe some from Edmonton, some from Calgary. However, you never know.
Well, and Vince, what you're saying about the length of your residential treatment program and the fact that you are individualizing it, which is so perfect, because you're leaving room for different options and length of time. You know, it was probably 100 years ago, I was running a recovery house in Drumheller called Grace House. And that was typically for people after treatment, right? So they've already been to detox. They may have gone to a 28-day residential treatment program, but they know that wasn't enough and they're looking for something else. And that something else was Grace House. And what it did is exactly what you're talking about being able to do internally, which is so much better, because you've already got the relationship, but he knows you already know his story. He doesn't have to go someplace else now and do all this end piece, right? But what I noticed, because I was a life skills coach then, and what I noticed, it was a 3-month stay typically, but lots of those boys, even they had been to detox and a residential treatment program, I could tell that their brain was just starting to wrap around the words I was saying, like, oh, and I thought, damn straight, you know, when you have been living in that high stress, anxiety level that you are when you're active in an addiction like that, right? And it's tearing apart in your brain and your relationships, high stress, high alert all the time, right? Your brain is on overdrive, right? And so it only makes sense that all of that is going to take some time. And I'm learning that just because I got a sore hip and some bad muscles, and I just wanted to be better. And I'm going to physio, and they're saying, well, you have to practice. You have to, you know, you got to do these exercises and train. And I'm like, no, I want this fixed right now. And I want it, because that hurts when I do that. That hurts, right? And it's the same bit. It takes time. And I'm so glad to hear about the length of your program and how you're honoring everybody's journey by having those options to stay and to make sure still about that connection being alive and strong by the time they leave. How tightly connected are they to the community, or to who's their You know, who are they hanging out with? What are they doing? You know, all of that stuff. Because their community has always been pretty unhealthy. And now they have to go and try and find a new one. Right? And who are they going to hang out with? What about their friends? You know, all their friends are still out there. Oh my God, I better invite them over. You know, we know how it works, because that's what we humans do when we love each other, right? But that's fantastic. I'm so excited to have you here. And really, I know that I speak for a lot of organizations that are saying, thank goodness we're going to have a place locally.
No, you brought up something, and whenever you say community, I get goosebumps, Kath. And the reason being, and I heard this statement a while back, a long time ago, and I said, whatever, I didn't believe it. Mind you, I was in my addiction. This is like over 20 years ago. And the opposite of addiction is connection. And that is something that really resonates with me.
That shifts your brain, doesn't it? It shifts how you think about addiction. Never mind, buddy, you know, like, oh, that's what we should be concentrating on even more than sobriety, is that connection, because we know without those connections, won't matter how squeaky clean you are.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that basic human need of connection keeps us all going. Yeah. Now, Vince, do you have like, okay, let's say I'm Buddy and I'm coming to your place for treatment, and I've been to Detox and I'm going to stay, and I'm getting pretty stable. What would can you give us an example of what your program would kind of look like? Will it be like life skill kinds of things in there? Certainly, we're going to talk about spirituality and your connection to something bigger than yourself and all of that. But is that, am I on the right track?
Well, you're totally on the right track. The way I look at it is that each individual will need to they have to reprogram their mind. And maybe reprogram is unnecessarily the best word, but a shift needs to take place. And this has been proven over and over and over that faith is so important in recovery. There's so many, I have a stack of articles like this talk about how much more powerful faith is in recovery than in sobriety, not only sobriety, but recovery, than those that simply don't believe in something greater than themselves, right? So we are about Christian values, compassion, kindness, and love, but we welcome everybody. We welcome whether you're a Buddhist, Taoist, Islam, an atheist.
But then, Vince, what if I was Indigenous and I came to your program? What are you going to do for me then?
Absolutely. That's actually a very good, I'm not the program manager, Paul Martin is, but however, if you're Indigenous, I think what's important is to really celebrate the journey from start to finish. So what I mean by that is an Indigenous person, I'm just using this little scenario, where they may have experienced intergenerational trauma from residential schools. I've experienced intergenerational trauma, but not from residential schools. So my experience is different. Now, my version of God is Jesus Christ Almighty, potentially, and please forgive me, I may be wrong on this, but a lot of my Indigenous friends call God Creator. Okay. The whole point is that in the same way that we have, let's say, as an example, 12 steps programs, whether it's AA, NA, and whatnot. And I remember I meant saying this nicely, but there'll also be like a 12-step version. And Beth, I believe you called it
Wellbriety.
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 And it's there. What we're going to do is have Wellbriety as part of the program. Now,
that's awesome.
Do I know the details of everything? I don't.
No, but you know the connection to me.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah.
Because here's Buddy, and now he can certainly do our program, but where's that extra connection? Is he looking for his cultural practices? Because if he is, we know where to hook him up for when he's ready. More or less what I was thinking.
And you
because
mentioned
we have, oh, sorry.
you did life skills coaching, of course. And when you said that, it triggered something in the back of my head. So, for example, maybe someone doesn't have their GED and they want to get their GED, or if someone does have GED, maybe they want to go to CDI college or university. We'll hook them up. We'll speak to higher level,
Yeah.
secondary level education, universities, colleges, and so forth, to make sure that they have access to all these organizations, right? From a financial standpoint, I'm not saying they can read for-profit or non-profit financial statements, but we'll provide them with resources so that they're able to take care of themselves financially when they're out there, because you won't be there to help them out, right?
Yeah.
So I call it the wheel of life: career, the financial side of things, the spirituality side of things, the family side of things. Family's going to be huge. The exercise side of things, I thought exercise was excellent. Health, wellness, exercise. So going to the gym, have partnerships with maybe organizations like Good Life or whatever other gyms that there are. I go to Good Life myself in Red Deer, right?
Yeah.
But maybe they don't want Good Life. Maybe they want something else. Maybe it's mountain climbing, but exercise of some sort, right?
Yeah.
So it's really that whole wheel of life that we want to present to them, so to speak, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's going to be so great to have you guys open your doors. We're going to be celebrating.
I'm pumped just having this conversation with you and Kirsten, because one of the things I know that we're connected to, you and I are both connected to the Central Alberta
Addictions Consortium.
Yeah. But we're also connected. There's a group called Red Deer Systems Navigators. And this is more for my staff.
Yeah.
Sheila Dodge of AHS, or Alberta Services, Addictions Community Practice, Primary Care Network. We want to be connected to everyone and anyone where we can ultimately provide these wraparound services, as you nicely said, to each and every one of our clients, because ultimately it's not about me, it's about them.
Well, and you know what else is a hidden bonus in those connections, those broader community supports is, okay, we learned something else that's going on, or we learned something, okay, we needed that piece because this is what they're doing in Edmonton or Calgary. Oh yeah, we need to try something like that here. We just get such good information from each other and the trends. When I think of Safe Harbor's partnership with the overdose prevention site, they're getting the skinny on the dirty dope that's coming much faster. There's just a lot of good information that can help the staff and the EMS and everybody else. So yeah, it's a bonus hanging out with everybody because it's a learning ground. Kirsten, how are we doing? We're probably getting tight on time.
We are getting tight on time. I'm just enjoying listening to you guys.
No, but
because I love the conversation between you and Kath. So we are almost up here, Vince. Is there anything that you would love to share before we end our session today? Anything that you would, I don't know, a story that you would love to share? You shared your own story. Is there anything else that you would like people to know that we haven't touched on?
There's one thing that I believe in: collaboration, and I believe in everything is done for the client. Most people that I know in my life in the business world, they always believe in competition. They have to compete against this organization is coming into town. I have to watch this, that, and the other thing. I don't believe in that. I believe in that. If you haven't read it already, the Blue Ocean Strategy approach, where the competition is irrelevant, and I'm here to work with the competition if need be, right? And I'm here to work together to take my ego out of the equation.
Yeah.
This is a community initiative and ultimately help the client recover, because we're dealing with people's lives. Kath, you deal with people's lives. I mean, right at the ground floor every day. I serve coffees once in a while at the shelter there on Wednesday nights, and I see the people that you're helping, and I'm just proud to be a community member, and I'm proud that the Red Deer Dream Center is a community member here in Red Deer, and I look forward to working with you, Kath, to save people's lives.
Awesome.
I look forward to you too, Vince, because you can speak Italian to me whenever I need a little boost.
Arrivederci, Bella.
Oh yeah,
I'll
Bella.
read it.
I like Bella. I like Bella talk.
So maybe we have to have you back, Vince, once the Dream Center is open,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
chat again.
I would
We
love
will.
that. I would love that.
Awesome.
And I do everything in
Vince.
Italian. No.
Oh, yeah.
Vince, I imagine as a nonprofit, you are like Safe Harbor as a nonprofit, and I think this is a good opportunity too to shout out to the community who have all, I've heard them for years saying, we need treatment, we need treatment, we need treatment. And a shout out to all of those people who believe in the work that you're about to start doing and value it and to support it. And I'm sure you're taking donations in all the time
Yes.
to help offset those costs. And it's a great opportunity. You're getting close. It's a great opportunity for the broader community to say, yes, here they come. Let's get our money over there and help those guys, right?
Yeah.
After we help Safe Harbor.
Yes.
Vince, if somebody wanted to connect with you and donate and contribute, is there, like, how can they reach you?
They could literally call me on my cell, 403-466-9100. They could also go to Canada Helps and type in the Red Deer Dream Center Society, or Red Deer Dream Center, I should say, and donate that way. They could alternatively go on our website, www.rddc.ca. That's www.rddc.ca, and donate that well.
Right
that
on.
way, I should say. And you know something, if I'm just grateful to be part of this community, and let's all work together to do some wonderful things.
That's right.
Awesome.
Hey, and do you know how to, every time we end Captain's Corner, I say steady as she goes. Do you know how to say steady as she goes in Italian or Sicilian?
No. No, I
Okay,
don't.
then we'll do it my way. Everybody, steady as she goes.
Steady as she goes.
See you next
Steady as
week.
she goes.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Vince.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.